So, on the topic of interruptions, the dreaded meeting. How often, how long, how much? What should you talk about? So, and I mean, that's a huge depends question, but what are your thoughts?
Well, if we're talking about project management, there's a particular project that you're doing. So whatever is sufficient to facilitate continuing to move the project forward. I would think a minimum of once a week would be necessary. But like if you are a smaller team and you're having to work more collaboratively, then maybe you want to do it like people do for stand-ups. So like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day or something like that, where you just kind of report what you've worked on and what you plan to work on next.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
but it's a big, it depends.
Right. It really is. It depends a lot on the size of your team, the members of your team, the type of project, the customers you have, the industry you're working in. But here's some of the things that I've kind of found, and I've got some pretty strong opinions about this too. Like surprise, surprise. But every morning stand-ups are too much. I've never been in a situation where that was necessary. I've been in situations where they were scheduled for, the 15 minute stand up every morning, and they always turned out to be 1 to 2 hour stand ups every morning.
What?
Yeah, and it got to be exhausting. It got to be, it was just...
And then that goes counter to my statement where I said, as long as it moves the project forward.
Right.
Because if you're in a 2-hour meeting every day, what the heck?
Well, and because what would happen, and this is, I don't think this is uncommon, in order to do to keep things to 10 to 15 minutes, if you've got more than like 2 people, you have to have a really strong on the ball manager who's not afraid to tell people to shut up. Because what always happens, because we're human and we like to communicate, is somebody brings up an issue and then we all try to solve it in the meeting. And that's not what those are for. But
that's called the parking lot.
Right.
You park the idea in the parking lot, and whomever wants to address it after the meeting, go for it.
Right. Yeah. Hey, you guys pair on that. Go, after the meeting, go deal with it. But that's just not what happens. So what I've found is that the everyday stand-ups were just too much. And what seems to be the sweet spot for me, for any team larger than 2, is scheduled meeting once a week and other meetings as needed. You just call them in the whatever your chat communication channel is. Hey, I'm having this problem. I need to have a meeting about it. Can we get on the phone? But having those scheduled every day, because what ended up happening is I lost almost a half a day of work every day because I was having to get ready for that meeting and attend that meeting and watch the meeting go for an hour or 2. And then I'm tired after the meeting. And then, it's just,
it sounds like that situation would not move the project forward.
So Mark Clifton, I have a 5-person weekly 80-minute catch-up meet. Sounds like the stand-ups and possibly featured dev or other incident subject specific meetings. Usually never more than 2 meets a week. Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Personally, I think, well, I don't know what, okay. For me, 80 minutes would be too long, but that's because I don't like being in meetings. So I'm not saying that 80-minute meetings are too long. It depends on what you're doing and how productive they are. For me, it would just drive me nuts, but that's a personal thing.
And it depends on what's covered. If it's, if they are reserved time for, discussing particular issues and whatnot.
And if everybody in the group is happy with that, fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, so and that's why we started that part of the conversation with, it's a big depends. The people, the project, their
team members.
Yeah. So
if you like this clip and want to watch another one, you can click right here. Or if you want to watch the full video, you can click here.